Hi, I'm Bianca.
And I'm SJ.
And this is ScreenGab. And today we're doing Cool Runnings, which is a continuation of our first film crushes theme.
Yes,
thing.
This is Bianca's choice.
Yes.
And we literally just watched it. And
yes.
now we're podcasting without planning our thoughts.
Which is different for us. So we'll see how this goes. The guy 4-year-old me had a crush on was Leon Robinson, and he plays Doris in the movie. And he's very sweet.
He is cute. If I was going to pick one of the guys on the team to have a crush on, I would pick him.
I mean, as an adult, I think he's cute. I also think, quote, Baldy is cute.
Yes, I agree. but Doris is nicer. Yul Brynner in this. He turns out to be, not like, by the end, you're like, oh, he's, like, not as gruff and mean as he was in the beginning.
He was very like, I'm special and no one else is like me, as disciplined as me, and I'm gonna get what I want. Sort of dude.
I'm gonna get out of here, and I'm not a team player. I don't like teams.
Yeah.
But by the end, he was totally a team player.
Yes.
And he had really significant interactions with one of his teammates and helping him have self-confidence and stand up for himself.
This film is based off of real-life events, which, I mean, you can look them up. It's very different from the film. Like, I think the things that are similar are that
there was a Jamaican bobsled team.
And that they did crash. It wasn't the same number of trials. Far as I know, those are the only similarities.
In real life, did they pick up the sled and walk across the finish line with it?
I have no idea.
I have seen this movie before, but, like, it was a long time ago, and I didn't really remember anything about it except some of the lines, because I guess we repeated them.
You did, Sanka.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like the kissing the lucky egg and stuff. Like, I remembered that.
Yes.
I didn't remember what actually happened at the Olympics or how they got there or anything, so.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, the film almost seemed like it didn't remember either. It was just kind of like, guess it's time now.
Yeah.
Let's go. It's these guys. So it's Sanka, Doris,
Junior,
and Yul. Yul, Junior, and Doris were all running, I guess maybe
I think it was like a 100-meter dash. Yeah, they were sprinters.
Yeah. And Junior, who I guess like super clumsy, ends up tripping both Yul and Doris, and so none of them qualify, and it's really sad. But Doris won't be broken, and he finds a way to make sure he gets into the Olympics, and it's in competing with a bobsled team.
And their coach apparently had this idea to, like, get sprinters to be bobsledders because they would be faster at running at the beginning to push it. But then it's like 2 months from the Olympics, and they learn everything all of a sudden, and then they're there.
Yeah, like, no problem. They just get everything down. They're super competitive and, like, apparently just as good as everybody else.
I mean,
this is a kid's film.
Yeah, and I'm assuming it's a Disney movie. I don't even know if it is, but it feels like a Disney movie, the way that everything is structured and happens, and it's just like, da-da-da-da.
Yeah, when you're talking about structure, like, just even the guys on the team, they're all very different from each other and created to bounce off of each other, but, like, work well together. So Doris is kind of like the cool guy, I guess.
The serious one.
But also happy.
He's idealistic. Persistent. He's the one who's like, we can do this, or he's, hopeful or optimistic or whatever. And
then Yul is just like,
tough
I'm
guy.
Hardcore. Then Junior is just sweet. And kind of a doormat. Aw.
Yeah.
But he learns not to be.
Sensitive one. It's like they're a boy band.
Yes, and then Sanka's just like the goofy one.
Yeah.
He's the comic relief.
Yeah.
You can see, like, what's that? They're not tropes, not caricatures, but what's that called? Types?
I don't know. Well, so it does have some, like, little lessons or whatever. Like,
it has a lot of lessons. Yeah. It almost, if anything, I'd first like to say I do like this movie. I'm a little biased because it's like, nostalgic for me. There's just a lot of, some of the conflict makes sense, some of it seems kind of contrived, and then it's just, like, buffered with these, like, serious moments. Like, that's the movie.
Yeah.
It's just, like, lessons about, I guess, being true to yourself, knowing yourself, and...
I mean, being true to yourself is definitely one of the overarching themes, and it sort of plays out in big and small ways, because Junior has this whole conflict with his dad where his family's really wealthy and his dad wants him to go work this rich job, and instead he goes and joins the bobsled team, and then
repeatedly lies to his dad and doesn't tell him what he's doing.
And then when his dad finds out, he's like, you're gonna come home, and he's like, finally has the moment where he, like, stands up to him, he's like, no, I'm gonna do this. So that's, like, him being true to himself in this little way, and then, like, the team as a whole, they're, like, trying to copy the Swedish... What team are they trying to copy? Switzerland?
I think he said they were East German.
They're, like, counting down in German, because that's what this other team does, and I think they're so cool, and then they...
And Doris likes that, and so he wants to copy that. But then Sanka is like, no, we need to do this our way.
Yeah, we're Jamaican, we need to be Jamaican about it.
Instead of counting down in German, they do this, feel the rhythm, feel the rhyme.
Get on up, it's bobsled time?
Yes! I just, remember that first part. There's stuff while I was watching this, I was like, I remember this so well, and repeating this all the time when I was little. So, yeah.
So they embrace their identities, and then they're more successful that way.
Yeah.
Except then also they crash.
Yeah.
They still pick up their bobsled and have pride in themselves and their country and carry it across the finish line.
Yeah.
They're respected, and they're going to come back to the Olympics the next time. I guess that was the one way that it wasn't like a Disney movie, but if it's based on a true story, they could only change so many things. Yeah. Because normally, that's one of the things at the end of a Disney movie or a Disney type movie, I would call the Hogwarts cheer, at the end of Sorcerer's Stone, when it's like, oh, extra points to Gryffindor, you won, everything's better now, yay!
Yes. Pile it on,
no
everything's gonna go your way.
Exactly. So it was sort of surprising that it didn't, it was surprising to me because I didn't know the true story and I forgot the movie. But it was still a really positive, joyous, cheerful ending, even though they totally crashed and didn't win any medals.
It is awful. They flip on their side and they just kind of end up ramming their heads against the side for a good 20 seconds.
Yeah, I feel
it's
they
awful.
should have died.
Yeah.
I'm glad they did.
No, looking at it, it's dead. You guys have been dead. But anyway, what happens is they crash and they're falling over. And then instead, Sanka asks Doris, you dead, man?
Yeah.
He's like, no, I'm not dead. We need to finish the race. And so people run out to help them, emergency personnel. But then they kind of part, a sea parting. And then you see these 4 Jamaican bobsledders carrying their sled above their head and walking towards the finish line. And so it's kind of this thing too. It's things don't always go your way, but just having dignity and doing what you set out to do anyway.
And I really... Okay, so with Junior and his dad...
When they're all still in Jamaica, Junior's talking to his basset hound, pretending his basset hound is his dad. And he's like, look, Dad, this is what I'm doing. Kind of practicing. And then his dad's like, hey. He gets home and he's like, I got you this job.
Webster, and Cohen, or something like that.
And then he can't bring himself to tell his dad that he's gonna, go leave with his team. And so he just does it without telling him, which involves selling his car for, thousands of dollars as well. Yeah. When they're going to qualify, they are in Canada. After they've been there for a while, his father, who is in Jamaica, sees pictures of them in a newspaper, and he realizes that his son's in Canada and not in Miami, where he thought he was.
He flies out there.
Yeah, he flies to Canada and he's like, look, you're coming home. And at this point, Yule has had this conversation with Junior, or it's just kind of this pride power conversation of just you need to stand up to people, understand who you are as a powerful person. Junior takes that to when his dad comes to meet him. He's like, look, you're coming home. And it kind of takes a moment, then he's like, I want to know who you see when you look at me, and I want you to understand that I'm not who you see. And he stands up to him, and he stays in Canada. He goes to Canada to rebel.
Yeah, it's quite an unusual rebellion. I'm going to the Olympics.
Yes.
You can't tell me what to do.
Don't tell me not to dance, Dad. But then it's clear by the end of the film that his dad stays and supports him from the sidelines, because as they're walking across their sled across the line, you see his dad in the crowd right up at the line, and he breaks open his coat. He has his Jamaican bobsled shirt on,
which
and it's great and sweet, and you can see the look on his dad's face. He's just like, I love you and I'm proud of you.
And I really appreciated that moment came after the crash, and that the dad was like, yes, I'm supporting your dream now, even though you literally just crashed. It felt more meaningful to me than if it had been at the beginning of the race and his dad was like, okay, go Junior.
Yeah.
Because then you'd be wondering now that we crashed and we didn't win a medal, do you still have pride in me? But
exactly.
I liked the placement of it coming after that.
Me too. It's this thing of him kind of, because honestly he's micromanaging his son a lot, and it's clear that he's not letting his son
be his own person.
Yeah, and that's not healthy. Or cool. And so it's nice that it's this thing of he is just accepting, you're going to do your own thing, even if your own thing is competing in the Olympics.
Sorry if you can hear my cat in the background.
Yeah. I really want to cuddle with him, but if I do that, sometimes he gets kind of he thinks I'm playing with him, and he bites me, and it's super sad, and I'm just I just want to snuggle with you.
He's purring now. leave that in.
I'm trying to think. So when they're actually competing, they do lots of panning back and forth between Calgary and Jamaica, and so it's all these people, all these characters we've met before. So in the very beginning, we see when they're in Jamaica, they do these push cart races.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's a big community thing, and people, like, make and paint their own cars. Kids can work with adults and do this, and it's cute, like, and fun and great.
Somebody's on the back, like, the adult's on the back, like, pushing it with, like, their feet and then jumping on. And then the child is steering, I guess? Is the child steering?
I think so.
Okay.
There's all these kids and all these other characters from back home, including Doris's girlfriend.
Who's sort of underdeveloped.
Yeah, it's definitely this, like...
Sort of. I mean, she's barely in it, but...
Yeah, she really is. Like, she didn't really need to be there at all, but I think that there's a lot of this, like, just part of, like, you're being an everyman, like, you have a girlfriend or, like, a wife, and it's just kind of like, meh. Well, and she didn't need to be there.
I liked that when it was showing, like, the crowds in Jamaica, like, watching it was more meaningful that there were, like, people connected to them personally.
There were lots of characters we'd met
made
previously.
It have a little more impact, that we, like, knew that they had the relationships with. Towards the very beginning when he's about to go to the trials for the sprinting, and she's like, "Oh, are you nervous?" Like, that was a really cute scene with really good interaction, but then she, like, doesn't say really anything after that.
Yeah. I think that using another character to reveal to the audience what the main character is thinking or how they're feeling. Yeah. And it's very natural and works well, and that it's just, like, it never comes across that way again. So.
Okay, also the coach, I didn't really like him, first of all, because he was, like, a jerk. I don't know, like, it was weird that they gave him, like, a whole side plot. Was that part of True Story, too, that he was, like...
No, his character is entirely made up. There was no cheating scandal. Like, they just made that.
Yeah, so the coach had previously won, like, 2 gold medals for bobsledding, but then he got, like, disqualified and barred, and the gold medal's taken away because he got caught cheating. Like, so that's weird that they invented that whole thing and gave him, like, all this big part of the story when I don't feel like that was necessary. Like, did they not have enough drama with, like,
so I think True Story? Is something like, about this film is that there's a lot of conflict in it, and some of it seems super manufactured. Yeah. And it really doesn't even add a lot to the runtime. Like, there's this part where the coach goes to talk with this board of people.
Yeah, because they've disqualified the Jamaican team.
And he's like, you need to let us play, and you need to not, hold against
Chandler's really
me.
upset about it.
Chandler is really upset. Chandler's like, let me live my life. So he essentially tells them to, like, not disqualify them and take it back.
Yeah, but it's, like, all about him. He's like, just because I cheated doesn't mean these guys should have their chance taken away. And it's like...
And then they are, again, it's,
they're just reinstated.
Take it away. Yeah. It literally takes 3 or 4 minutes. Like, it didn't need to be in the movie at all. And so there's a lot of that, and I do think that contrived conflict is, like, around that character. Yeah. There's just also, so that's just
I feel like they could have, added, like, drama with the people on the team, the team members. What was the word I'm looking for here?
Bobsledders?
Yeah. Like, they could have given us more about them or...
Both their relationship.
Yeah, like, something without making up somebody who's cheated and lost gold medal and isn't even from Jamaica. Like, why is he such a big part of the story, especially if this is based on a true story?
Hans Zimmer did the score.
Yeah, that was really surprising.
Yeah, now, I remember this from, like, whenever ago when I watched it recently, and I was like, hey! The first time I really understood who Hans Zimmer was, it was Inception. And so, like, this is very different. And, I mean, there's some singles, like, there's songs that they have taken and put into this movie that have nothing to do with Hans Zimmer. Right. But there's definitely some Jamaican music and, like, just that vibe that he is incorporating into
there's a lot of, like, score. The, like, steel drums and stuff. Oh, there's definitely... Tina Belcher would appreciate this movie.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so...
Every time the bobsled teams, and they show various countries.
Yes. Have these very tight... Is that Lycra? I don't even know.
Oh, I thought it was spandex.
Spandex.
It's very tight material on their butts while they're running and pushing the bobsleds.
Exactly. They found it very necessary to film them from the back. And so you see everyone, and I just thought, I literally turned... I was just like, it's Tina Belcher, and then I quoted Tina, just... Butts. I like butts. Like, yeah, so there's lots of that in this movie.
Which there's a little bit of that at the beginning, too. Because when Doris is just, like, running, he's wearing, like, little running shorts, and he, like, goes through the market or something, and this woman is...
These two women
are like, ooh, look at his backside.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to say that they weren't that direct about it, but they literally were. Like, he was talking with them, and then he starts running away again. And it's something like this, she likes to watch him run away or something. I was like, oh my god. And I think that when I was little, I even, like, remembered that, like, that kind of made me uncomfortable when I was little.
That, and then when they are, like, trying to raise money and they have a kissing booth. Those are, like, the most, like...
objectification they're subjected to.
I was gonna say sexual content.
Oh.
But, like, I mean, what is this? Is this, like, a G movie? Like, it felt like it was G. Maybe it's PG, but I can't think of, like...
Well, they say badass mother.
Well, yeah, so... but they say mother. They don't say mother or anything else.
Yeah, but the implication.
Yeah, but... There's a Swedish guy smoking a cigarette at one point, and he's a bad guy. Yeah, and they get in a brawl with him.
They do get.
But I think the cigarette thing was just... If this came out in 93, I feel like people knew cigarettes were bad by then, but maybe it's because he was the villain. I don't know. Yeah. It was just sort of surprising to me. You don't see as many people just casually smoking. So one of the things that Sanka has is this lucky egg that he kisses.
Yes.
And it's kind of weird. Also, like, is it the same egg the whole time? Because he has it, like, at the pushcart race?
No, I think it is. Still... Like, it's just never broken. And so like... it's his lucky egg.
Okay, I was going to say, is it, like, boiled or something? Like, how does it... how do you carry an egg around and it, like, doesn't go rotten?
Magic.
And also, when they're bobsledding, like, he'll kiss it right before the race, and then it, like, sticks it down his pants or something. Yeah, there's no pockets on that thing.
No, it would break. There's a fair amount of, like, slapstick humor
I was gonna say
movie.
Sight gags, but yeah.
Yeah. And a lot of it does come from him. I had serious nostalgic feels watching this, because when I watched it, I was super young. And I love, like, part of me is, like, from what I've seen of Jamaica, like, through my dad and through being there just the handful of times that I have, like, you know, it is a lot more colorful there so far as, like, clothing and stuff. But, I mean, it's, like, popping in this movie. Like, everyone's just, like, super color all the time.
Yeah, and then they go to Canada and everyone's, like, wearing gray and black.
Yeah, and it's just dull and cold. And so it's not like it's, like, either it's, like, super untrue, but it's just, like, it's a stark difference, and you do notice it. But, as far as to say, like, when they're in Jamaica, like, it just makes me happy seeing it. Nostalgic feels hit me hard. And there's this stuff I remember, like, you know, you see stuff in films for the first time, and, like if someone has, like, a gem or something, it just seems to, like, glow so much more in your memory than it is when you're watching it, and, like, as an adult. And so I kind of had it a bit with this, but it wasn't, like, disappointing. Like, I've been disappointed, like, seeing something as an adult. I still watch it, and I was like, this is great. And there's a lot of, as we were saying, just kind of like lessons learned.
Yeah.
But there are a few phrases that are very key. And so one of them is, Yule is when he's still being mean. So he's having this kind of like talk argument.
Or he's being more self-centered, I would say.
Yeah. Yule is like super convinced he's going to live in this particular huge house when he, you know, becomes famous. Mm-hmm. And so he's showing Sanka a picture of the house, and Sanka just starts laughing, and he's like, that's Buckingham Palace. I think Sanka, and I also think, does
Junior's there? Yeah. Well, Junior's in the same room. I don't remember if he laughs. But... Okay.
And so they're kind of just like, yeah, like...
I think Junior's like, that's where the queen lives. That's really Buckingham Palace.
Yeah, and Sanka's like, if you want to live there, you're going to have to marry the queen. And it's kind of this thing of, like, he's been so, like, cocky, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, they know stuff I don't, and I was just kind of trying to put them down.
Yeah.
It's ultimately to say that Junior does go up to him, and he's like, look, you go get your palace. And it's something that, like, I just really remember that line. Also something my mom says too. And that, it's just this good, just like, don't let people get you down. But I feel like Sanka deserves that moment too, and, you know, Yule didn't need to be so weird to him. Like, but it's still just ultimately this thing of, like,
go for your dreams. Yes. Don't give up on them.
Do what you want to do.
It's funny that your mom would quote that a lot, because in the last movie that we did, that was my movie Crush, there were all these lines from it that we would quote. So it's like, is that related to having a crush on a guy in a movie, or like part of why?
No, these movies just have great lines.
Maybe we just like... Maybe our families, like, watched these movies over and over because they had great lines, and that's why we had crushes on these guys.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know, because I don't remember having, like, another movie crush or even show crush until I was much older. Like,
this one was memorable.
Yes.
That was a good line, though. I liked that part. And it was also, like, Junior, like, helping Yule, and then later, or before, I don't remember if it was before or after that, that Yule helped Junior be like, you gotta stand up for yourself, and look in the mirror.
They do. Oh, you know, I guess...
They complement each other really well.
I didn't think about it. I was going to say, you know, it's so weird that they are the only family really wants to have that. And then I thought, no, Sanka and Doris are like, you see, it's much more in the beginning of the film that they're best friends.
Yeah.
And to me, it's much more not that they help each other or there for each other in the same way that Yul and Junior are, but that it's like they kind of grew up together and they're like, like
they're very
loyal
to each other.
Yeah. And so I didn't really think about that until that there's this kind of like two like paired off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. It's sweet.
It's a dude bro movie. It's about guys and friendship.
Guys being a man. Guys.
Yeah. There are some parts where Yul is like, this is what it means to be a man, or I'm a man, or don't want to do that because you're
straight
a man.
up says that he's a real man and they aren't.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not mincing words about this at all. Like, yeah.
Real men bobsled, guys.
Yes.
I feel like the parts that I do remember from having watched it, like before we watched it just now, I remembered them practicing in the bathtub, like leaning, and that's like 2 seconds in the movie. I'm like, why did that make such an impression in my mind?
Weird.
That I was like,
there's 4 guys in a bathtub leaning back and forth, seemingly for no reason.
I mean, bobsledding is a weird sport.
Yeah, I don't know anything about bobsledding. Like, if it weren't for this movie, I don't think I would know that it was a thing.
Well, I think I would have just seen it on TV at the real Olympics eventually.
I see. Well,
but I don't pay attention to Winter Olympics as much. It's not as exciting. Only ice skating. Figure skating. Yeah. Well, it's just the closest thing to gymnastics that Winter Olympics has.
Yeah, I don't really watch the Olympics at all, which is why I'm saying, like, I really feel, at least for me, I don't think I would know. It just whoosh, right over my head.
Well, they don't know, like, at the beginning of the movie when...
What's a bobsled?
Yeah, when he gets the idea and he's like, great, I'm going to be a bobsledder. Now, what is a bobsled? You know, like, I think that Doris is, like, the best of the guys on the team, but I feel like Yul has the best character development because like he has more of like an arc, and Doris is like, I'm just good the whole time. Yeah. And they have this weird conversation like with the coach and Doris towards the end where he's like, why did you cheat? And he's like, oh, I don't know.
Oh no, that was
one of
those lines.
It's like a good like little
the coach
lesson.
The coach says that he just became someone and his whole life was just about winning, and there's a point at which if you can't win, you just make sure you win anyway. That it was too important to him. And then Doris is like, well, you had these medals, like you had everything, like why would you feel like you needed to cheat? And then he goes into the winning thing. The coach tells Doris, like, if you're not enough without the medals, you won't be enough with them. Yeah. Yeah.
So it was sort of like, it's still sort of related to the, like, be true to yourself. Don't let winning or losing define who you are. Like, know who you are and be true to that, and then be okay with whatever happens. You did your best, and la 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 la. Yeah. But it was a good conversation. It was a good, like, message, but it felt, like, out of place because it sort of came out of nowhere. And I don't know if it was supposed to be, like, really meaningful to Doris. Like, Doris's character wasn't really... I feel like it didn't have an arc for that to be, like, the... Yeah. Something significant, and it was just like a conversation in the movie, but it didn't...
That's true. Because at the very beginning, Doris is telling his girlfriend, essentially, none of these people are as good as me. He doesn't sound nearly as cocky and, like, in my opinion, mean as, like, Yul does. But he's like, none of these people are as good as me. None of these people want it as much as me. And so he really is... He does want to win. Yeah. And I think it's a good thing that the coach has that conversation with them because they end up not winning. Right. And so it ends up becoming about...
But they still have, like, pride in themselves.
Yeah.
And, like...
Exactly. I do understand what you mean, though. It kind of seems out of character for the coach, but I don't think it was, in my opinion, entirely out of place.
No, it's not out of place for the movie. It's just they could have kind of wound the thread of that message in a little bit more. Had more about, in the middle, about Doris, like, being like, it's really important to win, or I'm nothing, or something, and... You know, like, okay, I'm taking these words to heart now, and I need to discover about what it means for me personally. Like, they just didn't, maybe if they hadn't spent so much time talking about the coach's made-up, life and his cheating scandal, like, they could have had more of that type of character development for the team, but... Maybe I'm asking too much of a comedy.
No, I don't think you are. I think that's an interesting point, and it is kind of weird that, because it's valuable to know, but it's not really going up against anything that he specifically said in such, like, a plain way of just, like, I need to win. We need to go here and win. And, like, I guess they do say that, but it's not, like, he thinks if he loses something awful is going to happen.
Yeah, like, they're the long shot anyway. Like, they've literally never bobsledded bobsledding. I don't know what
bobsled. I should think
they're the newbies.
Yeah.
So I don't think they're like expected to win. I mean, they're obviously you don't go to the Olympics, you don't want to get a medal.
And this is the thing too, the fact that they even get there. Oh, so you guys are just going now? You're just gonna go and qualify? Like.
So how would you categorize this movie? Like, what genre is it? Because
kids movie.
I was thinking comedy, but then like it's based on a true story. So is it like biographical?
I think this is an uplifting
historic
comedy. I wouldn't consider it biographical or historic because I mean they take a lot of liberties with the story because there's just the one coach in the film, but it was a whole team of people in real life, and I mean none of the characters in the movie are, so far as their personalities go, based off of the real
Maybe
sliders.
it's just kind of sort of a dramedy, but more comedy than drama.
Yeah, and for kids,
family friendly dramedy.
Yeah, my God, the genre might just be like family movie.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of this type of movie of like inspirational, sports related, overcoming the odds, true to yourself.
Yeah.
I think it's a good movie. I mean, even though its biggest flaw is that it's kind of cheesy, but it's not really trying not to be. So
yeah.
If you're in the mood for it, it's fine.
Yeah. I
did laugh out loud a lot. Even though, as I was laughing, I was like, this is really silly.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of, like we were saying, sight gags and stuff, silly characters. I like this movie, too. I'm biased. I think it certainly has its flaws. It takes itself seriously, but not in those ways. Like, it's not, like, you shouldn't watch this movie expecting, like, a serious critique or observation about, like, Olympic sport.
Oscar-worthy or something. Like.
Yeah. But it's a nice movie to have on and just check out and watch, and there's sweet moments and...
Yeah, like, I don't know if it's a flaw that it's cheesy. Like, that's just the type of movie it is. Yeah. So, it's definitely upbeat. It's very upbeat. I think it would be hard to watch this movie and not be, like, smiling or in a good mood.
Well, thanks for listening. We will be back sometime soon with We Don't Know What.
Yes. I feel like we didn't talk very much about your crush.
It's okay.
Okay.
I don't know, because I feel like mine was different than yours. Like, you, like, had, like...
I was obsessed.
Yeah, where, like, with me, it was like, oh my gosh, I think this was my first movie crush, because I felt this, like, nostalgia heart flutter. So I feel like I don't have as many of the memories.
Yours was more like a fancy, and mine was an obsession.
And do they even kiss? In this movie, did he and his girlfriend kiss? So I couldn't.
He kissed that other girl at the kissing booth, and then the girlfriend was like,
yeah.
I don't remember if they did when she was talking to him about if he was nervous or not. Because that's like the only...
So I didn't even have the opportunity to count kisses, is what I'm saying. But yeah, he's cute, and so is Baldy. Thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.